hatutaki hiyo punguza mzigo. Kwa sababu hiyo mzigo wanatuambia ni sisi kama watu wa Central tunafanya nini? Tunapunguzwa. Ya pili ni maneno ya BBI. Na maneno ya kuongeza hizo viti 3. Hizo viti 3 ni viti ndogo sana, 3. Watu 3. Hizo za 3 tunaongeza kwa sababu kila mwaka wa uchaguzi, mwaka nenda mwaka rudi, kuna vita na mavutano. Kwa sababu wanaona hii concept wanasema winner takes it all, si ndio? Hizo viti tunasema ziongeze, si za kabila na msidanganywe. Ni za wilaya, regions. Ni za wilaya. Na nyinyi msikadhani ati kwa sababu nyinyi ni wengi ati next time mtaweza tu kuwa hapo automatic. Sidhani Wakenya watakubali unless muongeze wilaya zingine pia zipate nafasi ya uongozi wa nchi hii. Na mimi sitachoka kuambia hivyo.
All right, that's Governor Anne Mumbi of Kirinyaga County, and she says that you have to prepare for the eventuality or the reality that President Uhuru Kenyatta is leaving office in 2022, and therefore she says that the BBI is the route to take because it might create 3 positions that you might have someone representing the region. Why is this anxiety in post Uhuru Kenyatta presidency in the Central region?
Of course, we want to know who is be our kingpin. It goes without saying. I think that question is obvious. We want to know who is our kingpin.
And who is it?
No one. So far, we do not have a presumptive kingpin who has emerged in our region. For several reasons. First and foremost, for one to become a kingpin, you need to have that ability to bring leaders. Leaders need to gravitate around you. And so far, no one has been able to reach that level. Take, for instance, a person like Uhuru. She appears to have some domestic issues. She's also not a tested politician. For you also to reach that level, you need to have won 1 election, 2nd election. Look, people like Musalia Mudavadi, Uhuru Kenyatta, people like William Ruto, Raila Odinga, they are battle-hardened. That way people start to respect you. So we do not have a battle-hardened...
But your region has only 3 years. Where do you get a kingpin of sorts?
It appears we won't get. So far, all factors seems to point towards that Central Kenya will go into the next election without having one person being able to speak with one voice. No wonder there is this argument that we need to wait for President Uhuru to give us a direction. Maybe from there we'll be able to know which is the way. So far, he has not discussed politics. No wonder most of us, we are waiting to hear his voice. I suspect from where I sit, his voice will carry a lot of weight.
But some are not waiting, and that is why you've seen a lot of politics of Kieleweke versus Tangatanga. I want us to just take a look at the pictures of Murang'a County, that is at Gitui Catholic Church on the, when was this? That is the Sunday before yesterday, that is 8th of September, the conflict that you saw between Minor Commander, a nominated member of Parliament, and Ndindi Njoro, that was very heated, leading to the was it arrest? So those are the pictures that you will be looking at. So when you look at this, Dr. Chris Wamalwa, the division that you see, of course, as he said earlier on, is that these are interesting times. We've not seen these kind of things before. What then does that mean for for a region that has been at the helm of presidency for about 32 years, and now they do not know what will happen in 3 years' time?
You know, in Central Kenya, what is happening right now is the fear for unknown. In this country, we've had, of course, Central Kenya, when we talk of Central Kenya, predominantly, these are Kikuyus. And they've had presidency 3 times, starting from President Jomo Kenyatta, we had Mwai Kibaki, and we had Uhuru Kenyatta. And the only person out of Central who has been the president of this country is Moi. Even though I come from as Luyas, because the indicators that right now we've overtaken Kikuyus in terms of population, we are saying, hey, maybe it's the highest time.
Are you sure?
We should also have a Luya presidency.
Do you
so
have
the
resources
issue
that you
is
don't have? No, wait a minute. Do you have resources that you don't have?
No, we have resources, of course. And what's
results?
Of course, no, indications.
Okay.
Indications are because most of the time,
by the way.
most of the time when I go to my village, my age mates, you will find they have 10 children, second wife, 5 children, the third wife, 3 children. But you go to Central Kenya, they only have 1 kid or 2 kids. Some have decided not even to have kids. So obviously, and even when you go there, because I've visited, you find that there are no nursery schools anymore. If they're there, they're very, very few. There's a friend of mine from Central Kenya who pays, when he sees a lady who is pregnant, he's paid something to motivate them. But come to my village, the people of Mulembe, you'll find the man has 3, 4 wives, first wife, 10 children, second, we're actually talented, and
really?
we must take advantage of the population.
Really, Dr. Chris,
so
you that a talent.
in terms of population, yes, we must take advantage of population so that we can also go to presidency. Now, coming back to Central Kenya, Central Kenya is an area they are so interested in presidency. When you are the president, you enjoy some discretion, and people believe they are financially endowed because they've enjoyed the presidency. If you are the president, you can, of course, you can exercise a lot of discretion to benefit your people more. So in this case, in Uhuru Kenyatta's case, Uhuru Kenyatta is not going anywhere. Let me tell you that.
What does that mean?
And Uhuru Kenyatta is not going anywhere in the political scene. All these conspiracies going around is by design. And he has associated very closely with Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga in Luo Nyanza, he's the kingpin. People like James Orengo, Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, they tried to compete him. He put them down. They became his briefcase carriers to survive politically. And this is the same thing happening right now.
Senator Kangata, you're tickled. What is it?
No. The issue is Uhuru Kenyatta, he's making it clear that in Central Kenya, there's no clear successor. He has learned from Raila Odinga. Right now, if you go to Nyanza and you talk against Raila, you'll go into political oblivion. And that's why people like Orengo, who are his contemporaries with Nyang' Nyong'o, what happened? They were his competitors. He reduced them to nothing. They became his briefcase carriers for them to survive. So in Central Kenya, what is happening? Let me finish. Uhuru Kenyatta now.
Wait, Dr. Chris. Let's bring in Senator Kajwang here, because he has made an allegation that Raila Odinga has been dealing with those people that want to outsmart him or to take away the mantle. Is that so? Is it by design, or it's just the politics of that region that shapes that? And do you think that
he has provided leadership.
The same as he says is happening in Central Kenya, that Uhuru Kenyatta is trying to reduce the voices that may want to come up?
I would encourage our viewers and even Dr. Chris to read Professor Nyong'o's article that was published over the weekend, where he says, I'm not a Raila sycophant. We just find ourselves in the same ideological terrain. And I think that is a concept that is impugning Professor Nyong'o and Orengo and others. I think they are comrade in arms who believe in a cause, and that cause they started when they were young Turks. And they've been at it for a long time, since the days that Senator Irungu Kangata talks about the days of Matiba and others. But political ethnicity is a big
can
problem.
I interject a little bit and say, can I interject?
Just allow him a bit of time.
No, just one interjection.
Because I'm not even made
No. He knows
interject
the point I'm trying to say. The truth is, between the two of them, the one who has talked the truth, it is him.
Dr. Chris.
And he knows. No, he just wants to be a good man.
I don't know who made him the authority on the truth. Allow me to say this.
I know how politicians behave.
Political ethnicity.
He wants to show
when
he is talking the truth.
When Irungu Kangata says that we don't have a leader in Central, first of all, I have a problem with him as a person, because he's my friend, he's my age mate. This guy has been a councillor, he's been a member of National Assembly, he's a senator, he's a leader.
Governor.
He was dropped here in a GK vehicle. How can he come on air and say that we don't have a leader in Central? Why can't you become that leader? When Jaramogi Oginga died, and we had this conversation that Jaramogi had captured the Luo nation, and he had it at his fingertips, it was not even clear that Raila Odinga was going to be the heir. In fact, the heir apparent was James Orengo. But Raila Odinga came up and worked the grassroots, and today you can see the kind of leadership he's providing. What is the problem with political ethnicity? It makes people believe that unless the person talking is from your community, then he cannot speak on your behalf. But I think that is wrong.
I think the bigger question, Senator, is in as much as Raila Odinga is providing leadership in the Nyanza region, there's the question of mentorship. Who takes after you? Succession planning, which you do not see in Central Kenya. Why would that not happen?
Let me tell you, the problem with what I'm calling political ethnicity, that we now believe that unless someone speaks and that person is from Central, then they cannot speak for the people people of Central. And that's why you find people like the Governor Waiguru coming up. They want to provide a voice because no one else from Central wants to provide that voice. What would be wrong if Kivutha Kibwana was to say things that adhere to the people of Central and then he becomes a leader? Why do we think that the leaders for regions, if it is Western, that the leader for Western must be a Westerner, that the leader for Central must be a Kikuyu, that the leader for Nyanza must be a Luo? And this, now it brings me to that clip that you played where Governor Waiguru was talking. This is the reason why that Building Bridges initiative was established. People, when they look at it, there are 9...
To create 3 positions?
No, let me clarify that. There were 9 agenda issues. And in fact, I agree with the Speaker Muturi when he says that in the terms of reference of BBI, there was no referendum appearing anywhere. And I have a problem with Governor Waiguru standing in public and saying that BBI will create 3 positions and will do this and that. BBI report has not even come back in. We are not even sure whether the recommendations of BBI will be to go on referendum. Personally, I've made my presentations to BBI, and the submissions I've made to BBI cannot be effected without amending the constitution, because my submissions were on devolution, increasing allocation to counties, strengthening devolution, and reorganizing parliament. That can only be done through a constitutional amendment. But it is wrong for leaders to stand up in public and say and promise the public that BBI is going to create 4 positions, 5 positions, 8 positions. Let us wait for the report to come. Let us debate the report, and then let us see the things that we can amend in Parliament and the things that we must take to the people through a referendum.
All right, Senator. I do not speak for Governor Waiguru, but I remember when Team Embrace, the women who belong to, who associate themselves with the Embrace team, they made a presentation that suggested, that was proposing the creation of the position of the Prime Minister and 2 Deputy Prime Minister slots. You wanted to say something?
Yes, the point is, my friend Kajuang is talking of the ideal. In fact, I pray that Kenya reaches that level where a person being supported notwithstanding is tribe. But the truth is, you must distinguish between politics as it ought to be and politics as it is. The reason why I somehow gravitate towards what my brother Daktari is saying, he seems to be telling the public the politics as it is. Because you must also appreciate how our politics plays out. It is tribal. So therefore, the fact is, for us, those of us who come from Central Kenya, yes, for me, I don't want to pump myself, show that I'm so good. No, I have not reached that level to be able to command.
You don't think you can command the region?
I have to talk the politics. I'll be cheating myself.
I want us to introduce another clip that we had of Governor Waiguru so that he can give us a context. She was speaking about the chaos that we've seen in Central Kenya, that is both in Nyeri County as well as Murang'a, and she was attacking, sort of, quote unquote, the Deputy President. Just listening to what she had to say.
Ama wanafikiri hatujui, walikuwa wamesema tukuje mkutano na walikuwa wanakuja waanze vita hapa nje, si ndio? Central Kenya hiyo ndio sasa itakuwa maneno. Na nyinyi mko hapa kila siku mmewafuata. Na ni kugawanishwa, mnagawanishwa kama watu wa Mount Kenya. Msikubali tafadhali. Wacha asimame hiyo kiti ya president kama anataka. Ama ya prime minister. Si ndio? Lakini hata sisi kama watu wa Mount Kenya tunataka kujua kwa serikali yako tutakuwa na nini. Kwa sababu hii uko na nusu serikali. Yare yato ho. Ile president nake heo deputy. Na cabinet make yana. Ona idhuno makatoko tugeshira 2022 tugakorwoko.
So that's Governor Waiguru. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I wish you give me more time. Now, Governor Waiguru, she's trying to play smart. And if things work in her way, she should be the apparent heir when it comes to Central Kenya. But what she's saying is true. When you look at the 2013, look at how the cabinet was shared. It was predominantly between 2 communities. If the CS was a Kikuyu, a PS was a Kalenjin. This is something we don't want. So this is the reality. And when you look at some of the proposals some of us gave, actually we're looking for inclusivity. Empirically, politics in this country is tribal. Look at Central Kenya. If you're on an ODM ticket, I don't think there's any MCA who was elected on an ODM ticket in Kiambu or Kirinyaga. And when you go to Luo Nyanza, nobody was elected on maybe Jubilee. So it is aligned politically, tribal. So the issue we are putting across is this, and I'm happy what you're saying, it's true. Even when you come to Western Kenya, it is Western Kenya where we are seeing people laughing at us because people we are democratic. You are aligned to Wetangula, you are aligned to Mudavadi, or you are aligned to whatever. You know, we are democratic, and people have taken advantage of us. So the issue is this: Central Kenya cannot afford to divide themselves politically. How did Uhuru Kenyatta come in? During the Musumukati government, we had Raila and we had Mwai Kibaki. And Mwai Kibaki was the president.
Right.
And they made a succession plan whereby it was clearly designed to support Uhuru Kenyatta to take over, despite the fact that Raila Amolo Odinga was in that government. But the presidency had powers. So they had designed it in a manner that one of their own is going to take over. And Michuki said it. Michuki said it that if you want the votes of Central Kenya, you must align yourself with Uhuru Kenyatta. So what is happening right now is being designed.
But that planning, Dr. Chris, because Senator, you were there and you were observing what was happening there. Then, was it a plan by Mwai Kibaki, or it was just the region organizing themselves?
You know, Mwai Kibaki.
Well, can I comment?
I wish I could finish before he comes.
Can I comment? Well, for me, it was pure. To a certain extent, to me, it was the issue about the merits of the candidacy of Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, from where I sit. I think he deserved to be that level. But allow me to say that the system that is being proposed by Madam Uhuru, it has its major demerits. And I would urge we continue to highlight those demerits, because even if it comes, we are able to mitigate those demerits. That system is what is called constitutional democracy. A constitutional democracy is where in an ethnically divided society, you create a system that appears to incorporate major ethnic groups into government structures. The problem with that is three. Number one, it's quite expensive. Number three, it promotes something that is called immobilism. That is, the government is always bickering. There's always stalemates. And number three, one can argue is also anti-democracy, to the extent that a question will be asked, what about those other ethnic groups which are not in the top three? And again, we are trying to fight the element of tribalism. This is an idea that seems to embed tribalism as opposed to coming up with systems that can give incentives for a more cohesive society. So in a way, of course, it has its own merits in the sense everyone feels that is included in power echelons, but it also has major demerits, which I'm here to see people debate them in public realm.
So, Senator Kajwang, so this is Central Kenya. If we are to take the voice of Governor Waiguru to represent the views of maybe some or majority in Central Kenya, why would they need to have someone at the helm? I mean, we have 42 communities, we have 47 counties. Not every region is represented at the very top. We only have 2 positions now. Even if you get 3 more, those will be 5. Why is it so important that the Central Kenya is represented at the top?
And it's the political ethnicity that I was talking about, and it's quite negative. It's not a strong message to the people of Nyanza or the people of Western. When 2 communities that have dominated state power since independence are still in this discussion of saying, fine, we are passing over the baton to you, but what is in it for us? The question the people of the coast will be asking, what about us? Are we not Kenyans? The question of the Turkana, what about us? The one thing I agree with Governor Waiguru on in this conversation, the question of what is in it for us should not be asked on behalf of the tribe, but on behalf of Kenya. If you look at Deputy President William Ruto, who has been in office for 8 years, the question will be, what new thinking are you proposing for 7 years? What new thinking do you have for your presidency? What has been the success during the time you have been in office? And I can tell you that Kenya has not been doing that well. If you're looking for evidence, the state has slashed expenditure by almost 50% across the board. It is going to the extent of even banning quota per diem for state officers. It tells you that this country is broke, and this country has become broke under the watch of certain individuals. So for me, I'll keep asking that question. Deputy President William Ruto, you want to be president. What is in it, not just for the people of Homa Bay, but for my children, whose future I would wish to be guaranteed? And by the way, Senator Irungu, I wish to be guilty as charged for being idealistic, because I believe in politics there are two ways of looking at things. You can accept the situation as it is and become helpless and just be a player in it, or you can aspire to change things. And I believe politics is about inspiration and that vision that things can change. The constitutional democracy that Senator Irungu has talked about has been practiced in many other areas. Even in the United Kingdom, there is a deliberate balance between the English, between the Irish, between the Scottish, between the Wales. Even in other democracies far greater than us, when they were coming up, you could see there were clear arrangements that were either put in constitution or was in common law and practice that was put there to guarantee the inclusion of everyone. What we are trying to do in this, and that's what I was saying, that we cannot analyze Governor Waiguru's comments as the construct of the constitution that we want to get going forward. I personally believe, and that was my submission to PPI, that we need to go into a parliamentary system where Senator Irungu Kangata can become a leader of this country, not because of his ethnic mobilization, but because of his ability. If Senator Irungu Kangata comes to the Senate, for example, where we are 67 members, I can tell you, if there was 5 positions up for grabs, I can tell you that he is guaranteed to get one of those positions. But if it was through universal suffrage, he probably will not come in with enough numbers and enough grassroots support to get that. That's why Aden Duale is a leader of a majority. That's why even Mbadi from the Suba community, a very small community, is a leader of minority because of parliamentary systems.
Okay, just to indicate on the, what side is that? This is on the right of your screen, you see the pictures of Nyeri County. That was on the 29th of June 2019. That is a function that was being attended by Cabinet Secretary in charge of Agriculture, Mwangi Kiunjuri, and you saw a conflict between the area MP, that is Gunjiri Wambogo, and a local MCA, and of course you understand that it was the politics of Kieleweke versus Tanga fueling that conflict. So that's what Governor Uhuru is talking about, that these fights are affecting this region. And I just want to, as we wind up on this conversation, just want to ask, what is the place of these disagreements? How is it possible that regions can have different opinions on where they want to place their allegiance, and at the same time you remain peaceful until the next election cycle?
In this country, we're not there. And this is what maybe the Senator was referring in terms of idealistic. We must talk on the realism that is there currently. And what Governor Waiguru was saying is the realistic. So we can't. Right now what's happening in Central Kenya is about succession. We've seen the two guys who are together, President Uhuru and Ruto. And the president has been on record. He said 10 years for Uhuru, 10 years for Ruto. But when the time for 10 years for Ruto has come, what is happening? Things are changing. It's about interests. And Waiguru is positioning herself so that in case that inclusivity aspect to expand the executive, maybe she can be a beneficiary.
So that change you refer to, that it's no longer 10 years for Uhuru, 10 years for Ruto, has it really changed, or it's a perception question?
From the look of things, it has changed. It has changed because William Ruto had gone so much in Central Kenya, and the president realized late that this man has penetrated his own backyard.
But the president, deputy.
No, things have changed. And the president, after waking up, he's saying, how do I control this guy? This is what happened to the Neuros. This friend of mine is a beneficiary of the position he has because of his closeness with William Ruto. But we are seeing things are changing. I talk to my colleagues from Central Kenya, they say, even now to accompany the deputy president, we are fearing. They are being intimidated. This is the truth of the matter. So as things go by, the question is, will the deputy president sustain that his popularity he enjoys right now in Central Kenya?
Is that the senator? Is that the situation on the ground?
He might not comment because he doesn't.
Since he's here, let him respond, then he'll weigh the truth of his answer.
Well, the truth is, when I observe what is happening in our region, you see an element of struggle. At times it appears it's taking a demographic purview. For instance, you see my friend Inyoro, who appears to be representing certain demography and the kind of militancy that I see.
What demography is that?
No, the truth is young people are strongly...
But you're equally young.
Yes, of course I am, but the point I'm trying to argue is, you know, I've been in politics longer and I know the importance of taking time. But I also see an element of the Tanga team and the kind of appeal it is getting in our region, and also this other group, the kind of machinations they are doing.
Which has more traction?
Well, for me, I think you cannot discount the two groups from what I see. From my own analysis, you cannot discount the two groups. But of course, give credit where it is due. For me, I would urge the Kieleweke side to think more, to become more innovative. Yes, otherwise...
What do you mean?
Well, the point is, for instance, the kind of people who are bringing the so-called Kieleweke message in our region, they need to be more innovative, maybe to appeal to the younger generation, because for now, they need to work harder from where I see it. Of course,
you know, the Kieleweke team.
And where do you belong? Just before we leave this point, where do you belong? Kieleweke, Tanga.
No, look here. You see, number one, for me, I am a great supporter of Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta as a person. Since the year 2002, when he decided to vie for the presidency for the first time, I've been a very strong supporter of President Uhuru Kenyatta. But on the other hand, I have an issue with the Kieleweke group, which is going directly attacking the Deputy President. I am not so sure whether that is the right way to do things. And for me, I don't practice confrontational politics. And because of that, I may not aspire to join a group that's going directly. However, for me, I belong strongly in support of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I would want his agenda to be accomplished. I'm waiting for his political directions so that we can know what is the way forward for us.
Is that a safe answer or
no, Ruto likes to play safe when it's appropriate, but sometimes it goes out guns blazing.
Yes.
You know, fine, let's talk about the reality as it is. To become the president of this country, and we saw it in the 2013 election, if what we are calling the Rift Valley bloc and what we are calling the central or largely the Gema bloc, I don't like using those terms, but they've challenged me to talk about political realism. The Rift Valley plus the Gema bloc plus rigging can make you president. And it happened in 2013. The two blocks plus a little bit of rigging to cross the 50 plus one. I do not believe it is an absolute majority. I believe it is aided by the deep state that participates in filling up the ballot boxes. But now you have a situation where you might call them irritants, Kieleweke. As long as you have an irritant within that block, what replaces Matiba versus Mwai Kibaki. Matiba was far more popular in Central. But Mwai Kibaki came in, became a spoiler, and Moi became the president. If the constitution remains the way it is, and if the contest was between William Ruto and Raila Odinga, I can tell you Raila Odinga will whip William Ruto.